Hello, students, and welcome to our first day of e-learning. It's going to be kind of a busy week, and so I wanted to take some time to explain today's lesson. So, as you can see, I'm here in Canvas because that's where I provide all the content, and you take that in. And we're going to kind of go into the lab today. So, I have my lab coat on and all set to go. Start by going into modules, and I'm going to scroll down to week 2 here, and the lesson is titled Experimental Design. So within experimental design, you will see the first thing I needed to do is to look back at your science notebook, and the particular vocabulary word, the essential vocabulary word that we're going to really focus on today is variable. Now, remember when I discussed this in class, I talked about how this was a term that you guys really focused on a lot in 6th grade. You applied in 7th grade, and then we're going to apply even more here in 8th grade. And so that is the part of a test or an experiment that has changed. But we're going to dive down into that definition a little bit more and look at how the independent variable is the variable that the experimental the scientists change, and then because of that change, that will have an effect on the dependent variable. And so the dependent variable depends upon what happens to the independent variable. So let's go ahead and write that information then into our science notebook. So remember that the independent variable is the variable that is changed. The dependent variable is the variable that is affected by that change. Typically, that is the variable that is measured in the test. And then the control group is the group that has that variable left out. And constants are basically everything that is kept the same. Now, this might be a good time for you to pause the video to get that information put into your science notebook. And so, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to do that. Okay, so now that you have that copied into your science notebook, the next thing I would like for you to do is to go ahead and watch the Brain Pop video on scientific method. The easiest way to navigate to that would be to go over here to the course navigation where it says Brain Pop. Go ahead and click on that, and it'll take you to this screen. Remember, we're having trouble with the class code, so let's just go ahead and ignore that. And then in the search bar here, I want to put in scientific method. So when I search for scientific method, the video I want to watch is this video right here. So the scientific method video is the one I would like you to watch. And as you watch that video, there's some information I would like you to record. I would like you to try to identify what the independent variable is, what the dependent variable is there a control group, and what constants there are. So basically everything that we just defined, I would like for you to try to identify in that video. So again, let me go ahead and give you some time to pause your video and take a look at that. Okay, so hopefully you were able to find that information that you needed. Let me get back to the lesson here. So again, I'm going to modules, going to scroll down here, and we're doing experimental design. So I went ahead and put an example of what your notebook should look like by now. So you should have your definitions that we outlined at the top here, and then the Brain Pop video examples, the independent variable was the frequency of the watering. The dependent variable was the plant growth. The control group was the group that they did not put any water in. And then a couple of constants were the amount of light that they used, the type of soil was the same, the amount of fertilizer they put in was the same, the type of pots. I mean, we try to keep as much constant as we can, except for that independent variable that's changing, and then that will have an effect on the dependent variable. Okay? So this final part, I would like you to go ahead and use the presentation in here to go through some examples of different scientific tests. And in your notebook, I would like you to identify, again, the independent variable, dependent variable, control group, if there is one, and at least two different constants that are in each of those different examples. If you prefer to not use your science notebook and you would prefer to do it in Notability, I did create a design station page that you can use in Notability to record that information, but that's not necessary. If you just want to write it in your notebook, that's fine. When you're done with the assignment, when you've gone through all 9 of those different scientific tests, go ahead and submit a copy of your work. You can either take a photo of your scientific notebook that has all that information in it, or the completed experimental design page is fine as well. Okay, so that would be the lesson for today. And again, it's going to be kind of an exciting week with all the e-learning that we're doing. You might have already noticed I did schedule a Zoom for Wednesday, and I'll send out additional information on that as that gets closer. So thank you so much, and have a good day.